Hello world, how's it going? It's James here with week 16 update. Unfortunately it is a little bit late, so I do apologise. It's normally a Monday update, but this week it's going to have to be Tuesday. I did spend all weekend in Sheffield, just saw some bands and hung out with a few friends, so that's the reason why it's a bit late. I do apologise, hope you can forgive me. On with this week's update. I don't really feel like there's been a massive amount of progress. I know I said that I'd got a lot of spots last week, and that continues to be the case. There's a lot of really sore areas on the front of my scalp at the moment, and it feels like those spots are just kind of building and building. So I am not popping them under any circumstances. I'm just going to let them run their course, but hopefully they're forming because there's underlying hairs, ingrown hairs that are eventually going to find their way out. Other than that, don't think I'm really doing anything any differently at the moment. I'm still mixing together like the Dove Pro Age hair shampoo with the caffeine shampoo, so I'm using that once every single morning. I'm brushing my hair regularly, so at least once a day I'll spend 5 minutes just gently brushing with a beard brush, which is a boar's hair bristle brush, and I really feel the difference after doing that for five minutes or so. I feel like a rush of kind of circulation going to my head, so I think that's doing some wonders for helping to thicken up the hair, or at least supply it with some oxygen, or at least supply it with some oxygenated blood. So it definitely gets really tingly after having a brush, so I think that's doing it some good. The only other thing that I'm doing as well is the argan oil. So as you guys already know, I'm applying argan oil very thinly after a shower, and then I'm also applying a thicker layer before I go to bed as well. The thicker layer simply because nobody else is going to see it, and it does make your hair quite oily. It sticks together and it makes the site look a lot thinner on the front, so I don't tend to go so heavily on it in the morning. Generally tend to leave that until the evening. That's about it really for this week, other than giving you guys the close-up, so let's get to it. Don't really feel like there's really been that much progress, although you guys can be the judge of that. And as you can see in the in blazing sunshine like this, you can see that there's a clear divide, or I can see a clear divide between the transplanted area and my normal hair. But that might be again because either one, the density is still to come with my transplant site, or that I might have to have another transplant in order to match the density. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, or doing this video series, is so that at the end of this 12-month period you can see exactly what's happened from one transplant. So I'm not using any gimmicks, I'm not using any hair fibers, I'm not trying to hide the truth, I'm just trying to give you guys as straight as possible. This is what happens from a hair transplant. So we'll see what happens, I guess. I'll give you a look at the donor site as well. I have to apologise for my terrible haircut. I am still trying to learn to cut my own hair, and I goofed it up pretty badly this week, so you'll have to forgive the quite terrible step in my hair, shall we say. Question time. Let's get to it. So this week the chief has asked, do I think the warm weather has had any effect on the growth? And I had to think about this one, and I do think that it's had an effect on it. Now that I'm not wearing a hat, I do think that the sun getting to my head has stimulated the follicles to grow, or at least to push out some extra hair. I have read a paper, a scientific paper from Google Scholar. Check it out if you want to have a look. Google Scholar is a great place to find scientific papers. There is a scientific paper that backs up some research that was saying that follicles can be stimulated to grow from sunlight. So I do think that it's had an effect on the growth of my hair. I feel like the heat's done something to it though. Maybe it's just like it's like a little propagation dome for all of my donated follicles. Yeah, I think the sun's done some good. If not for my hair, at least for my pale skin. So yeah, if it's not done anything, it's done something for my complexion. Alex has asked me, he's getting pimples around the 2 month mark. I feel your pain, man. You'll be getting them right the way up into the 4 month mark by the looks of things. But he's asked, do you recommend popping them? Absolutely not, mate. Do not pop them. The pressure of popping a spot can actually force out a follicle or a graft, and that's exactly what happened with me, and it terrified me. So please just save yourself the grief and just don't do it. End of. That's it. All I've got to say about that. Don't do it. You've been warned. Rob asked a really good question, and I think this is great. This is a really good question that I've been thinking about all week. And Rob has asked, how have your family, partner, and friends been about you having a hair transplant? And I think it's a really, really cool question, because my family, my direct family, my sister, my mother, my father, they've been very supportive of it. You know, if you want something done and you're unhappy about it, then go and do it, and we hope that it makes you happy. And they've been fully supportive of it, and they're actually like really shocked at the results. I don't think they knew what to expect, but I don't think they really expected like a full hairline restoration like this. I think they thought it was going to be much more phased, or a much slower kind of process, although 12 months is still a pretty long time as far as I'm concerned. My friends, on the other hand, though, that was an interesting one, because my friends were much more inclined to tell me that I never needed a hair transplant. Why have you gone and done that? You didn't need one. Like, and what have you done were like kind of the main questions that got asked. And I thought it was quite funny, really, because they're friends, they're there to support you, and they always will, but they're also less inclined to act differently based on your appearance, if that makes sense. So I mean, I don't choose my friends based on their appearance. I don't like my friends based on their appearance. I like them from their personality and who they are as friends to me. But if my friend, for example, was having a hard time being confident and feeling himself for not having, you know, a kind of nice hairline that they want, or they're receding, or they're thinning out, then I would let them do whatever they feel was necessary, be that ride it out and become comfortable with that hairline, or go and seek surgery in a different country. It really doesn't matter to me what they look like. And I think that's what my friends were trying to say, is, you know, you didn't have to do this, but they don't understand that maybe I did have to do this, but it wasn't for them, it wasn't for my family, it wasn't for any prospecting partners out there. It was really so that I could become confident in myself again. And that has a knock-on effect then in all areas of your life, right? So that's the reason why I did it. Partners, I haven't really had any partners during this time. I wouldn't really be looking to go out and seek partners during this time. But one person that I'm speaking with at the moment was really cool about it, and she really didn't care less. When I said to her, like, I'm wearing a hat because I've had a hair transplant, she was like, well, it doesn't really bother me. And then when I actually took my hat off, she kind of said that she wouldn't have known if I didn't tell her anyway. So that was kind of cool as well. And again, another bit of reassurance that at this stage, any kind of worries or doubts that I might have some days and think, oh, it looks really thin, and I can see the transplant kind of site. It's all down to knowing that you've had the transplant, and not necessarily down to what other people, not necessarily down to what other people see. So they don't see it, but you will. I thought that was a great question, Rob. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, my family and all my friends have definitely been supportive of it. Um, I would say even the people that said, "Why have you done it?" they've still been supportive, and you know, after seeing the results now, they're like really shocked. So they can't believe the result that I've got at this point in time. So yeah, all really supportive. Great question though, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks. So that's it. That's week 16. So I'll be back for week 17. And hopefully these spots will have gone and I'll have a new little growth spurt to report on. But as it stands at the moment, just don't really feel like there's been much progress this week. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you for week 17. Take care. Bye bye.